I keep saying that you would think that a 3 minute intro will be enough to get my life in order. Clearly, it's not. But we're gonna do what we can. Let me get my laptop. Alright, get my laptop and get my life in order. Alright. I mean, clearly, freaking a 3 minute intro should be more than enough time for me to get it together. It's not. What is up, y'all? All right, we here. What's up, y'all? Hey, hey, hey. Hey, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is good, people? What's up? Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Let me say hi to y'all. Oh, boy. Hey, Geechee girl. Hey, Lex. Hey, Vovo. Hey, so Jeff, Boogie L, Quintessential, Tracy, Nicole Stevens, Tabitha. What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am here. We are up, and mm, 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 we here. Thank you so much, Quintessential, for the $5 for the coffee. She sent me $5 for coffee with these early light. But you know what, y'all? I just have started doing this because I'm up early in the morning, and since I'm up early in the morning, I can. It's easier for me to do a live now early in the morning than it is for me in the afternoon when like 8,000 things are going on. I got 8 million meetings, 8,000 things going on, and all right. So let's get down to the agenda. This is the politics of it all. We can wax political here. We can do all the things that we like to do here when we get all politicky and stuff. So let's talk about some things. Y'all saw it here first yesterday, right? So yesterday, um, no, they did. I saw that yesterday when the when people were unsure about whether or not Kevin Samuels had passed. This was earlier during, like, in the middle of the day. One of the a member of the frat, who said he spoke with members of the family and someone who was actually there when the body was taken to the hospital, kind of confirmed. And so, but they told us to kind of, keep it under wraps until um, all of the family had been informed and they could kind of make a full, but that stuff leaks pretty quickly. But yeah. Um, so even when people were like, well, I don't know whether or not he's dead, we're still, have confirmed sources. We kind of knew they had already let us know. Anyway, we ain't got that many stories today. Y'all know when we come on here in the morning, we be trying to go live real fast and then keep it moving. So, mm. And I will say, just because he was my fraternity brother does not mean that I agree with all of his stances and all of his takes on everything. We are all different. You know, we may have the common bond in the frat, but you know, that doesn't mean we have to agree with everything that everyone says. When does Bill Collective start? I don't know. I don't know. Hexlock Media, hey, is that a sexy great daddy fuzz coming through? Child, don't. Child, I need the shade. Don't get me started. See, now you got me scared, Hexlock Media. Now I'm going to shave all this mess off. Yeah. mm. Anyway, there's a dude that's trying to talk to me who was like, "No, I like your little daddy peach fur." He's like, "I like it. You look great." I'll be like, "See, this is why you're gonna be 86 out of the conversation. This is why you're not gonna be a part of what I got going on. Telling me you like all this mess." Anyway, so let's see here. All right. Where to start? Y'all know it's just sugar spike after sugar spike after sugar spike after sugar spike. So let's start. We're gonna save the good news for last, okay? So we're gonna do the good news last. That's what we're gonna do last, the good news. Dear God. Hey Yana. How are you, my love? You need me to we've had this conversation, Jeff. I need to be myself to be set up with somebody. I was at the bar, not at the bar. You know, back in the day, that's what we used to call the gay club, the bar. Not that kind of the bar, but I was at a bar right around the corner from the house, and by mind my own business by myself, not bothering nobody. And some random dude came up and talked to me, and you know, did the gentlemanly thing, bought me a beer, sat down, had a good conversation. You know, can I get your number? Sure. Of course, he got the Google Voice number. You ain't getting the real number until I feel like you deserve the real number. But you get this good Google Voice number. Sip on this good Gatorade. Anyway, so so let's start here. I might as well because this whole show is spiky. So might as well we're gonna start off with what segment? Sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar, 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 sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar, 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 sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar, 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 sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar, 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 sugar spikes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our sugar spike segment. Right at the beginning. So I look mean all the time, so Jeff. So I ain't gonna even go there. I don't know why I was talked to. Maybe because I was one of the only black people in said bar. So maybe this one black person had a common uh thing and said, "Well, I'm gonna talk to like one of the only black people there." So it's kind of process of elimination. You know, desperation, as you might call it. I don't know. All right, so we'll start our sugar spike segment talking about, let me just say this. You're gonna see between, so I'm gonna sandwich this. I'm gonna say, hey Monk Chip Boo, I'm gonna sandwich this. We're gonna start off with one, and then our feature presentation will be another one. Because right now, the handicapped and infirmed community have said, hold your horses. You able-bodied people are not the only people that can be around here with the fuck shit and fucktitude and fuckery. Oh no. This is 2022, and America is a place where everyone, be it the handicapped, physically handicapped, and infirmed, or all the way up to the able bodied, everybody has the right and ability to be riddled and mired in fuck shit and fuckery and fucktitude. So, as we turn our hat to the side, so, my dear friends, we'll start off with Governor Hot Wheels. Why not? Let's go start with Governor Hot Wheels in the great state of Texas. Let me read this. Let me read this foolery to you, and y'all tell me what this is gonna go. Cause see, I told y'all there's an see here on this show, the politics of it all. We break stuff, and then you start to hear about it later on. Remember how yesterday was it yesterday morning? No, 2 days ago, I think it was Wednesday morning. We talked about Wednesday during the day. We talked about um, Henry Kuehler and Jessica Cisneros in Texas. Then yesterday, you heard it all over the news and the blogs. Now they want to talk about it. So yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about it. Um, if you Child, we'll get to her later. I told you I'm gonna sandwich this, Jeff. Let me do this. I got you. I got this. Okay. We gonna sandwich this. We gonna start with Governor Hot Wheels. God. So Governor Hot Wheels is out here rolling around in Texas doing anything and he can't be noticed because he would not be left out of the news cycle. So what does he do? Here's the headline. Texas GOP governor considers challenging 1982 ruling requiring free public education. Just gonna sit that right there. Let that linger about. Just gonna sit that right down and let that, fester there. Y'all need me to read that again? Texas GOP governor considers challenging 1982 ruling requiring free public education. And we're just gonna let that sit there. See, if you come in on time, it's me, D, you might get the answer to your question. But since you late, I ain't going back through that answer. I explained why we doing it so early and why we've been doing it so early this week. God, good morning to you, sir. God, see how they be coming out here, coming at my throat. Anyway, I keep telling y'all, these people want to take you back to 1776 just with 21st century technology. I keep telling y'all this. Y'all keep thinking I'm just blathering about and bloviating about nonsense. I keep telling y'all, when you're right as much as I am, you don't have to brag about it. Let me read this article for y'all, dear God. Days after advocates warned that the United States Supreme Court's expected overruling of Roe v. Wade portends rollbacks of numerous rights for people in the United States, Republican Governor Gregory Abbott, Governor Hot Wheels of Texas. That wasn't a good, I got to do that one again. That wasn't a good one. Hold on. Let me get that down from the belly. Republican Governor Greg Abbott, Governor Hot Wheels, that was a good one, of Texas said he wants to challenge a 40-year-old ruling that affirmed states must offer free public education to all children. In a radio interview with right-wing host Joe Pagliarulo late Wednesday, Abbott discussed border security and agreed that the host's claims that children of undocumented immigrants place a quote real burden on communities end quote, when they attend public schools, as the Plyer versus Doe rulings required states to allow in 1982. Quote, the challenges put on our public systems are extraordinary, Abbott said, going on to say Texas already long ago sued the federal government about having to incur the cost of the education program, and the Supreme Court ruled against us on the issue about denying, or let's say Texas having to bear that burden. I think we will resurrect that case and challenge this issue again because the expenses are extraordinary and the times are different than when Plyer versus Doe was issued many decades ago. End quote. The Plyer case arose from a 1975 decision by the state of Texas to permit school districts to deny admission or charge tuition to undocumented immigrant families. The Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund filed a class action lawsuit after Tyler Independent School District charged $1,000 per year to children who did not provide proof of American citizenship. The case eventually was taken to the Supreme Court, and the justices ruled 5-4 that all children in the United States were entitled to free public education under the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Abbott's comments came 2 days after a draft opinion was leaked from the United States Supreme Court, showing that the court's right-wing majority voted earlier this year to overrule Roe, a move that would eliminate abortion rights for millions of women in states hostile to reproductive rights. It goes on and talk about the Alito decision. Abbott's threat to children of undocumented immigrants, said one healthcare advocate, exemplified the late comedian George Carlin's summation of the anti-choice movement views on the rights of children. So let me get this right. So let me get this right. Because y'all know this is where this is going, right? You want to force people into having children, but then when those children get here, you want no parts of them, undocumented or not. Because if you think it's going to stop with documented workers or undocumented children, I should say, you're reaching. Because once the Pandora's box is opened, there's no more closing it. They will not stop with the undocumented workers. This will continue on. You think it ain't gonna have lingering effects to children of color? By the time I get done here, my whole hat gonna be forward because I'm shifted it so many times in my commentary. But think about it, people. This isn't going to stop. They are saying that we do not have to provide, if this law comes down, it will be open season for a state to say they do not have to allow or they do not have to fund public education to certain segments of the population. This is happening, people. This is really happening in these yet to be United States of America. So what I'm saying is you got the same governor who wants to force people to push out kids against their own will. Hey, L. Lewis. But then once those kids get here, we don't want no parts of them there. If they get here and they're not male and white, we don't want no parts of them. So we don't give a shit. This ain't gonna be enough ginger ale to get me through today. This what y'all got going on. This is happening, okay? Please be clear. What we got going on down there in Texas, please, if we see another state start to chip away at this as well, and you start to see another governor that's making the same types of statements, or another governor that chooses to latch onto this, you know what that means? Another drip, another leak in this old building. Because they want to blame, and we'll get there in a few moments, they want to blame the leak on the left. I think this leak is purposely coming from the right to give states cover and to let them know, hey, you can go ahead and do this. Hey, you got this idea, run it past us. Let me run it by somebody over here in the halls of the Supreme Court. Oh, it's okay. Hey, Amber. Then if it's okay, y'all go ahead and y'all pass this bill. Y'all pass this law on the state level. It'll make its way up to us. We're here for it. That's what y'all got going on. What is happening here? Oh, it ain't just Texas. It's a bunch of them. We got our Holy Trinity. We got Texas, Florida, and then you have the third side of the Trinity, which is both North Carolina and Virginia fighting to be that third part of the Holy Trinity of racism and bigotry here in these yet to be. So you got Texas, you got Florida, and then you got North Carolina and Virginia duking it out to see who can be the other part of the Holy Trinity of racism, bigotry, and discrimination in these yet to be United States of America. But this is happening. Mark my words, you heard it here. These people just don't say these things and it don't they don't start to have it come to fruition. And so if we talk about if they're so quickly and so able to say once or get the Supreme Court to because see here's what will happen. What happens is a governor, let me explain the process. Even if it's something that violates the Supreme Court or is unconstitutional, a governor will try it. They will go ahead, they'll get their legislature, which is probably leaning toward however they align in these states. So you have a Republican governor, a Republican legislature that's going to do his or her bidding. The Republican legislature passes this bill. The Republican governor signs it. Some ACLU or some civil rights group, uh, some challenges it in court. It goes to court. Meanwhile, once it's signed, it's the law of that state until a court, um, says no. You can either has a stay or a court just outright says this is unconstitutional. You can't do it. But until that time, this is happening. And depending on the judge that they go before, they may either allow it to continue to be the law of the land while they're making an adjudication, or they may give a stay. All right, Cams, I see. I know you still in New Orleans, Cams, or you back home? Anyway, and so what happens is people have to be subjected to this law. It's being carried out in that state, and this law of the land until a judge says that it's unconstitutional or tells that state it can't do it. Now that we've lined the federal circuit with all of these right wing, ultra conservative, unqualified judges, you're going to start to see more and more of them allowing this to um, continue up the chain of command, unbothered, unstopped until you get to the Supreme Court, and where the Supreme Court will say, no, we're not going to let you do that. Or, yeah, we're going to let you do that. Either way. But it still has effects on people in, real time. And if they're going to stop undocumented workers, who's to say that you might have where do we draw the line? Because what if that undocumented worker was here in the United States of America, got pregnant, and because of there's no more abortion rights, ended up having a child, right? You know as well as I know, if the parent is undocumented, they're going to assume that the child is undocumented as well. And so what will end up happening is they're going to try to deny that child and not really do all of their homework to figure out that this child may be a U.S. citizen while their parents are not. I could see a whole myriad of fuck shit going on with this. And then we're not going to draw the line there, because once you say we don't have to provide education to public schools, here's what's going to happen. We see it all the time, because this is, let me tell you what used to happen now. In recent years, they've kind of stopped this practice. Here's what used to happen in this country for American citizens. Oftentimes, for black and brown kids more. You have a child. Your child is quote unquote bad, and they black. Now, we don't went through already. You can go back and check some of my old lives or Teacher Project 2.0, specifically where we talk about the term a black child that's bad, but a white child that is interesting or gifted. The black child then becomes sped or special ed. The white child becomes gifted. Same behavior, same personality, different skin color. So now this black child that's bad, that has an IEP and then sped, matriculates along, right? There was a practice. Might fail a few times, might fail 3 or 4 times. So now there was a practice that once a child turned a certain age, a school would throw them out the building. Say you're a certain age, go figure out your life. You're barred from coming to school anymore. People write a letter, sign the document, sign the forms, give it to the parent. Here you go, you and your child go. They can no longer be educated in public schools because of behavior. Doesn't matter if that child is special ed. Doesn't matter if that child has mental health issues. Doesn't matter that that child is a citizen of these yet to be United States of America and their parents are paying taxes which fund said schools. That was happening here while I was teaching. I remember, because they would count down the days. It was when you for us, the trigger was 16, and I say 16 because you had in elementary you would have teachers, or we had state testing back in the early 2000s, that if you didn't pass it in third grade, you had to stay. Third grader could not go to fourth grade unless they passed a standardized test that we learned. Was not aligned to or was written then catered to suburban white America of affluence. But if you were an urban black or brown student, there were questions, and when you looked at the standard deviations of the test questions and things like that, the way they were written and aligned, it went against, or it was not written where certain segments of the population would do well. So you had a lot of students that were failing. So we ended up with a lot. My point is, we ended up with a lot of eighth graders that were 16, a lot of 16-year-olds in eighth grade, or 15-year-olds in eighth grade. And what would happen is you would count down the day. That child had done got written up, had done got so many referrals and write-ups, had indoor and outdoor suspension. Baby, the day they turned 16, in eighth grade now, still in eighth grade. We talk about eighth grade education. The school system would say, thank you for coming. Please drive safely. Get out of here. Here's your documentation. I don't know what you could do. You could try to go to adult ed. You could try to figure out your life. But baby, that's not our problem. Your child ain't our problem no more either. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. Please drive safely. And that was it. That happened here. And that was already a practice. So then, and that was with this Supreme Court ruling. If this Supreme Court ruling goes away, you know they're not gonna stop a black child, a brown child, or a child that they don't want, maybe a child that's transgender, and they don't want to see this child in the school with their kids. Guess what they might do? Yeah, because that child doesn't align with what we think. We don't have to provide them public education, and there's no constitution. The Supreme Court ruled that it's not constitutional, that we have to. Thank you for bringing your child here, but we don't want them. Find somewhere to go. I hope you got money for private school. Moving on. I just want to tell y'all where we're going. Just want to tell y'all where we're going. This is happening. This is happening. I think is it as we transition, is it time for a palate cleanser? Let's have a palate cleanser. I think I got a couple. I don't got that many, y'all. I might be able to give y'all a palate cleanser. Let's see here. There's a palate cleanser. There you go. While I get my next story in order. While we get the next story in order. All right. Everybody good with that palate cleanser? Good. There we go. There's our first palate cleanser of the day. So, our next story, ladies and gentlemen, is you know, these people on the left are very interesting. Let me say this. They draw at straws, come on with the good palate cleanser. With I got listen, I thought about you, Tracy. I left the name on just for you, Tracy. I got you, girl. I got you. All right. So I have to play something for y'all because, and I put this on my story on I put this on my story on Instagram yesterday because it was so baffling to the mind that, hey, BR Burns, that I just said, where the mindset, I'm going to play this for y'all. I'm going to play this for y'all because I want y'all to see the idiocy of these people. Just want y'all to see the sheer and utter, close that out, idiocy of these people. It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Come on. Y'all know how my computer be acting. But don't worry. A new one is coming. But I just want y'all to hear that it's not enough for me to read it for y'all because it won't have the same impact. I have to show it to you because it's just that just insane. Lord. Come on, computer. Y'all see what I got to go through? And it only does this when I get on StreamYard. Whenever I'm not on StreamYard, I have no problem. As soon as I get on StreamYard, where's the volume? Damn it. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Let me go back. All right, there we go.
We're not telling them what they can do to their bodies, though. We're telling them what they can't do to a baby, a precious life. And speaking of Ketanji Brown Jackson, you just saw there, I find it suspect that the first leak coming out of the Supreme Court in history comes shortly after Judge Jackson is confirmed. I want to know if her law clerks, who I am sure have already been hired, possibly even working at the high court already before her swearing in, have access to these draft decisions. She would be my first suspect when it comes to the leak because Ketanji Brown Jackson is a radical left-wing activist, more radical than any other justice in the history of the Supreme Court. I believe she is capable of undermining the court this way. We're not telling them what they can do.
That's what y'all got going on the other side. That's what y'all got going on. So The woman has yet to even make it to the halls of the Supreme Court. She's not even going to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court until Associate Justice Stephen Breyer retires this summer. She's not even there yet. But magically, the black woman is to blame. I told y'all by the time I get through, my hat's going to be all the way turned around. Magically, the black woman is to blame. Make this shit make sense, Diamond Pearl Gems, because I'm trying to understand, my love. Good morning to you. Make it make sense. This woman has yet to step into the halls of the United States Supreme Court, but magically she's to blame. She's the leak. I don't. That right there does not even deserve commentary or me dragging them because it speaks for itself. The lunacy of these people. I don't even need to. I don't even need to go down. No, they're not even worth me spending time dragging them. So with that, we'll give you another palate cleanser and move to our next story. Because it's just so, it just makes no sense. There you go, Tracy. There you go. It makes no sense that we're having to discuss this. Moving on. Take this palate cleanser down. Moving on to the great state of Louisiana, because Louisiana has said to themselves, ain't no feaster's daughter. Louisiana said it's way too much going on. There's way too much racism, discrimination, and bigotry going on for us not to get ourselves involved. Oh no, we're not going to have all of this racism, bigotry, and stuff going on without the great state of Louisiana having their say at it and pulling one of the, oh, y'all think y'all could be racist and discriminatory? Hold my beer. So let me read this headline to you all. And see how you like the great state of Louisiana. Louisiana GOP advances bill to make abortion a homicide by patient and provider. I don't know what y'all want me to do with that. Let me say that again. Louisiana GOP advances bill to make abortion a homicide by patient and provider. Oh, yes. So, in the great state of Louisiana, once they roll back Roe v. Wade, if by some chance you happen to get an abortion, you swallow a Plan B pill by mistake, or you take another one of those pills and medications that you could take in order to have a medical abortion, you know what that means? You are a murderer in the state of Louisiana. You and the person who provided it with you, be it that pharmacist that gave you the Plan B pill, or be it your or be it the doctor who performed the abortion, you are now a murderer. Let me read this for y'all. Louisiana Republicans on Wednesday advanced legislation that criminalizes abortion as homicide, allowing the prosecution of both the pregnant person and those who assist them. Introduced in March by Representative Danny McCormick, Republican of Oil City, Louisiana, House Bill 813 advanced out of committee in a 7-2 vote Wednesday. Just days after a leaked U.S. Supreme Court draft opinion revealed that the court's right-wing majority is on the cusp of striking down Roe v. Wade amid a nationwide wave that includes hundreds of state-level attacks on reproductive rights. HB 813 now heads to the full House of Louisiana. McCormick's measures would, which would give personhood to a fertilized egg. Oh yes, from conception. Let me read that again. McCormick's measure that would give personhood to a fertilized egg, meaning at conception, states that its provision should be enforced, quote, without regard to the opinions and judgments of the Supreme Court of the United States in Roe, end quote, or that decisions, quote, judicial progeny, past and present, and future, excuse me, end quote. It would additionally make any state judge who fails to enforce any of the provisions subject to impeachment or removal. It could also criminalize patients undergoing in vitro fertilization. Mm-hmm. 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 Quote, this is a bill to immediately end abortion in the state of Louisiana. No compromises, no more waiting, end quote, said Baptist pastor Brian Gunter, whom McCormick said helped author the bill. In a Twitter thread sharing reporting on the proposal, Slate senior writer Mark Joseph Stern drew attention to HB 13's criminalization of pregnant people. Quote, Republicans told us for years that they would never punish women who get abortions, wrote wrote Mark Joseph Stern. Now that Roe's about to fall, they're racing to authorize the arrest, prosecution, and imprisonment of abortion patients for murder. When abortion is outlawed, every uterus becomes a potential crime scene, end quote. Louisiana is among the states with a so-called trigger law that would ban abortions should Roe fall, according to the Guttmaker Institute. McCormick, for his part, is also the owner of M&M Oil Company, and whose other legislative acts this year have included fighting against incentives for wind and solar projects and proposing justification for the shooting of protesters in some instances. Oh yes, this is happening. So now here's the language that's dangerous. Just as dangerous as, see, there's a couple things in this bill that's dangerous. One, they're giving personhood to a fertilized egg, meaning at the moment that that young man skeets in that young lady, or let me not use those terms, that the penis enters the vagina and the ejaculate enters her uterus, and that sperm enters that egg, that fertilized egg, that single cell fertilized egg is now a person and given personhood. That's the first dangerous thing. The second dangerous thing is now pregnant women are now being prosecuted, and now you become a murderer. The third part of this that's dangerous is the language where it says, let me not get this right, both the pregnant person and those who assist them. Where do we draw the line? Because just next door in the state of Texas, you become a criminal even if you drive the person to the abortion clinic, or if you give them the money that they're going to use to buy the Plan B pill. So now in the great state of Louisiana, not only does the pregnant person become a murderer and get prosecuted for homicide, so does the person that assists them. And that is very subjective. See, this is what happens when you vote for people who don't have your best interest at hand. Or this is what happens when you decide, I don't care about voting, I don't care about politics. I'm just going to sit myself down. I promise you. I promise you. You know where we're going. We're going to get to the point where they start to say every egg and every sperm can be a possible human being. So then that's where they're going to start to cut off the whole. No, you can't use contraceptives because we don't want that to happen. That's where we're going to. That's where we're going. Homicide in the great state of Louisiana. So if you live in Louisiana, because Louisiana said, no, we're not going to have all this stuff being talked about, and Louisiana be the fuck left out. Louisiana said, fuck y'all. Y'all ain't going to leave us out. Y'all ain't going to leave us out of making women feel bad about their own bodies. So now in our state, if you get an abortion or you help somebody get an abortion, you're a murderer because we're going to prosecute you for homicide. Just thought I'd share that with you. Thought you all might want to know that. Anybody here live in the great state of Louisiana? Here's another palate cleanser. Here's another palate cleanser to cleanse your palate as we go on to the next story. Where's So Jeff? Because now is the time where now is the time where my boy So Jeff talked about me sandwiching. Now is the time where I will sandwich this sugar spike segment with the infirmed. Okay, so we started off with Governor Hot Wheels. We're gonna have to find a name for Madison Cawthorn, who's also in a wheelchair. I don't know that Representative Hot Wheels had the same ring to it. It doesn't have the same zest to it as Governor Hot Wheels. Because Governor Hot Wheels has kind of cemented his name and moniker, Governor Hot Wheels. So we're gonna have to find a name for Madison Cawthorn because calling him Representative Hot Wheels doesn't quite work. So that link right there that I just put in the chat, praise God, is for people who may not have seen the latest antics of Madison Cawthorn. I can't necessarily show it to you here on the tube of you because it is NSFW, but I can post the link and you can click on it and at your leisure. Hello, Dolly. If you don't get the reference with Hello, Dolly Madison, I can't help you. You're going to have to go look that up. You were silly, Diamond Pearl Gem. You were so silly. Anyway, but that link that I just showed you, which shows the latest in news or the latest in things that came out about Madison Cawthorn, I like it because they put the little Benny Hill, the Benny Hill music behind it, which makes it way more funny with the added Benny Hill. You see the wheelchair right there. Now, allegedly, his cousin is underneath him and he's humping. When you see this humping, that is him humping the cousin. Okay, that is Madison Cawthorn naked humping his cousin. Dear God above. I mean, The fact that somebody was creative enough to put the Benny Hill music behind it, and you see him humping his cousin's head naked, and then you have it's the whole scene for me. You got the wheelchair there, you got the 1992 pixelation. Like they taped it with their camcorder circa 1992 and 1994. The wheelchair sitting there in the foreground, okay? The background is what looks like to be someone's grandmother's house. They're on the couch. They got the white sheet to match his pasty white skin. He got the cousin late. You can't even see the cousin. He butt boongy naked. Not naked, but butt boongy naked. Because there's a whole difference. Okay? He had to crawl his ass out of this goddamn wheelchair, get on top of this young man who happens to be his cousin, and start humping him. Anybody click the link and saw it with the humping? Did anybody look at this video? Has everybody seen this video of Madison Cawthorn? Because the first video we saw about him, well, let's start down the road with Madison Cawthorn. Madison Cawthorn started off because he pissed off Republicans. What the Visa said these Republicans playing chess and Democrats playing connect the damn dots to make they do. It's so ridiculous at this point. The Visa's daughter is so ridiculous. So anyway, so several months ago, Madison Cawthorn pissed off Republicans by talking about him being invited to an orgy that involved members of the Republican Party, where they were doing all types of nefarious and debaucherous things at said orgy with several members of, politics in the Republican Party. That came out. He's over the years had so many horrible things to say about the LGBTQ plus community. He is a right wing conservative Republican, I should say. He said nefarious things about the LGBTQ plus community and marginalized community, and he's a frat boy that they let in Congress. Okay. So, what was it last week? I believe it was last week. A video surfaced of him and one of his staffers, his scheduler, and the scheduler boyfriend were frolicking in the car. Where did the boyfriend grab his dick, or did he grab the boy? One of them, they was grabbing each other meat. Okay. Come to find out, remember he used to be married, and the boyfriend, scheduler slash staffer, was living with him and his wife, and he ended up getting divorced from the wife. But the scheduler and staffer is still with him on his staff and still his scheduler. So there was videos that leaked of them feeling each other up. I forgot who was feeling all. I don't remember if he was touching the boys' stuff, but they were driving in the car. You see him, boom, I'm just gonna grab your meat. I'm like, oh, so that's what we're doing. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. So that happened last week. This week, we got this where he's humping on his male, and this ain't no thing where you got little boys playing, because I'm just gonna tell you it happens. You might have little boys, when they little play around, you know, like that. Those things happen with kids. Believe it or not, it does. However, this is a grown ass man. A grown ass man, grown ass wheelchair right there by his that couch, humping his cousin, his male cousin. I mean, it doesn't matter if the cousin is male or female, it don't matter, but it's still your cousin. I mean, what in the deliverance with the cousin on the banjo? I mean, cousin playing the banjo on the porch is going on here. What in the wrong turn is going on? I mean, how many flowers in the attic do we have here? I was Kayla Bird Smith. I'm like, dear God, Madison, Madison, my doll, my love, doll baby. Let me help you understand something. You were supposed to keep your mouth closed about the sex parties and orgies that y'all were having in the Republican Party. Let's be clear. The same party that got all the smoke for the LGBTQ plus community is the same party over here having sex party, and ain't a fallopian tube the first to be found in said sex party. Ain't not nary fallopian tube to be found in said sex party. Having whole ass sex parties, not a single fallopian tube to be found. I'm just saying. I don't know what y'all want from me. That's not me. That's Madison Cawthorn. That's what he told us. Now, this is coming after we remember, we already know this to be true. Remember Lady G and her whole scandal? Now, my thing is this. Who you done pissed off? Madison Cawthorn. Because Lady G had a whole scandal about her doing lines of coke off of the penis of male escorts who she paid, male prostitutes that she paid to come and blow her back out and allow her to do lines of coke off of her male escort's penis, telling them to count the ladybugs moles on her taint. Who's Lady G? Lindsey Graham. Yes, that Lindsey Graham, senator out of the great state of South Carolina. So if he can survive that kind of scandal, how is it, Madison Cawthorn, who you done pissed off that you can't survive it? I mean, it's just a little humping, okay? You hump your, listen, it's just a little crotch grabbing. It's just a little dick feel. Everybody done caught the feel on a peen. Put a 27 in the chat if you done caught the feel on a peen in your life. If you have copped a feel on somebody's peen, put a 27 in the chat. I'll wait. Because maybe people don't do that. Maybe people just don't do that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Thank you, Nicole Stevens. To make me feel like I was the only one. Thank you, Nicole Stevens. Dear God. The fact that Clark said 27 times 10. I'm not doing this with y'all. Oh, my Lord. Anyway. But yeah, that's what Madison Cawthorn got going on. Now, let's be clear. The GOP wants no parts of Madison Cawthorn. See, you can't be the leak. It's one thing for other people to spill your tea or to spill the tea coming out of the Republican Party. It's another thing for the Republicans to spill their own tea. They're not here for you spilling tea in the Republican Party. So what they're doing is, Madison Cawthorn, they are slowly but surely taking you out. It's the slow drip. I'm sure next week something else gonna come out. Can somebody tell me? Because Madison Cawthorn is out of where? South Carolina, North. I think he's North Carolina. I believe Madison Cawthorn. I'm sure he's North Carolina. Um, is there? When is the North Carolina primary? Because what it sounds like to me is that he's rearing. They're rearing up to have him primary. Let me read y'all what Madison Cawthorn had to say about the release of said video. Y'all look at Monk Chip. Hey, Monk the girl, you know I love you, Monk Chip. Okay, so I ain't the only way. Okay, chicken, get your chicken here. So let me read it because Madison Cawthorn is a real piece. I'm gonna read this real fast. Representative Madison Cawthorn, like I said, Republican of North Carolina, is speaking out more forcefully against the barrage of negative news stories about him as he tries to hang on to political life less than 2 weeks before a contentious primary vote with top Republicans in his state working against him. Oh, so we got 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. See, I knew it's the slow drip. Something else gonna come out in a couple of days. Cawthorn had largely avoided directly addressing allegations of insider trading, twice taking a loaded firearm to the airport, getting speeding tickets, and more. See, we got all this going on. I told y'all they listen, they're trying to primary. He's been accused of insider trading. He done brought a loaded firearm to the airport twice. And he has, I mean, the speeding tickets. I mean, who don't have a speeding ticket? But an anti-Cawthorn PAC's recent video release showing recent release of videos showing the 26-year-old first-term lawmaker engaging in suggestive and vulgar behavior has pushed him to be more vocal. A video released Wednesday night in which Cawthorn could be seen nude was, quote, blackmail, he tweeted, calling it years old. It was I was being crass with a friend trying to be funny, end quote, he said. Before that, Cawthorn released a 7-minute, 41-second video directly addressing and brushing off a number of controversies. He calling it a friend. Everybody else saying that's his cousin. Anyway, oh yeah, but don't forget, he was also saying that the scheduler Boy Toy was his cousin when he moved him in with his wife, who he's now divorced from. The same cousin that was grabbing his meat on the video. So why am I not to believe that this isn't your cousin that you humping butt boongy ass naked on this video that looked like it was filmed in 1992? Now, when he says years ago, I might believe him because the video footage, y'all saw me. I put the link in the chat. Link is in the chat. It looks like something circa 1992 in terms of the pixelation and cinematography. So it might very well be his cousin. I don't know. Child, let me keep going. I don't want to waste my time fighting the fake news media and every single narrative they put out, but I feel that I am honor bound to dispel some of their lies. So he lashes out at rival campaigns, accusing him of wanting to cut Social Security and military spending by 33%, saying that that misrepresents a portion of his quote new contract with America end quote plan to cut government spending by a third. And he denied having insider knowledge by promoting a quote let's go Brandon end quote cryptocurrency, calling claims reported in the Washington Examiner shallow. It was already confirmed, sir, that you were the one that said you wanted to create a let's go branded cryptocurrency. They had the receipts for it, sir. A piece of work. A piece of work. I don't feel bad for him, okay? I don't feel bad for him. I don't care that he's in a wheelchair. I don't care anything about that. Sir, go away. Somebody grab us a can of Crisco oil and he can meet us down there to the ramp. Meet us over there to the wheelchair accessible ramp, sir. We got a can of Crisco for you. Have you taken care of? Or I should say the Republican Party will have you taken care of. They're here for it. Republican Party is here for all of it. All of it. So that's the latest news. I'm sure in another day or two, we will be discussing more things. Madison Cawthorn, because the Republicans are hell bent on keeping him out of Congress since he's telling all about their orgies that they have down at the Republican Party, where there ain't a fallopian tube the first to be found in said orgy. We need another palate cleanser. Here's another. Did I do this palate cleanser? There's another palate cleanser. There you go. Palate cleanser. Here we go. Cleanse our palate this morning. We need one. We have to discuss the infirmed at the top of we have to discuss the infirmed and the physically disabled at the top of the Sugar Spike segment, and now here at the end of the Sugar Spike segment. Listen, the disabled and the infirmed say they will not be left out of racism, discrimination, and bigotry. They're not going to be left out. So we're going to cleanse our palate with this beautiful specimen for those of you in the chat to look at. Dear God, as we get to our last story, go ahead and cleanse this good palate. Mm-hmm. Not that you need to see his ancestry DNA. Diamond Pearl Jam. I'm not doing this with you this morning, Diamond Pearl Jam. Dear God. Anyway, moving on. Um, so, where am I? Our last story of the day, because y'all know we try not to be long. We still got to go to work this morning. Okay. Our last story is a good story. Great story. Great story. Good story. Okay. Good story. Feel good story. Child, it might have been the ex-wife Tracy. You know, these PACs, these political action committees that keep releasing these videos and footage, they are Republican, conservative PACs. This ain't no liberal. These ain't the liberals, progressives, and dips. These are Republican PACs that are releasing all of these videos and information. Child. So Madison Cawthorn, listen. It's the Benny Hill. Listen, do I need to drop that link in the chat again? I'm gonna drop the link in the chat again because it's the Benny Hill music for me. The Benny Hill sketch theme, the Benny Hill sketch show theme music in the background is what gets me every time. The 1992 cinematography, the look like your grandma or your great aunt's house decor, you on the couch with a white sheet to match your pasty white skin, the fucking wheelchair in the foreground. You can't manage to walk, but you sure can manage to be humping on your cousins. I'm just saying, grown ass man, butt boongy naked, humping on his cousin. Oh God. I'm gonna no. I need another palate cleanser because y'all got me talk about this man again. So I'm gonna put one more palate cleanser to cleanse our palate. Dear God, y'all got to talk about this man again. I need to cleanse my palate. Palate cleanser. Palate cleanser. Dear God, this is American politics. This is what your politicians are doing. Republican politics. Palate cleanser. All right. Our last story is our good story, feel good story of the day. as we complete our agenda. Our feel good story of the day is a good story. Corinne Jean-Pierre, or as we call her in Miami, Kerrine Jean-Pierre, because in Miami, I keep telling y'all, in Miami, she's Kerrine Jean-Pierre. But while she's the United States on May 13th, when she becomes the new United States press secretary, she'll be Corinne Jean-Pierre. She is of Haitian descent. She is a black woman. She is openly lesbian. So she is the first black female openly homosexual individual that will be the press secretary of these yet to be United States of America. All right, let me read this. The White House announced Thursday that Corinne Jean-Pierre will replace Jen Psaki as White House press secretary in the coming week. Jean-Pierre, the current principal deputy press secretary, will become the first openly gay person and first black woman to hold the role of White House press secretary. The White House said that Jean-Pierre would assume the position on May 13th. Corinne, quote, Corinne not only brings the experience, talent, and integrity needed for this difficult job, but she will continue to lead the way in communicating about the work of the Biden Harris administration on behalf of the American people, end quote, President Biden said in a statement. Quote, Jill and I have known and respected Corinne a long time, and she will be a strong speaking voice for me and this administration. And he goes on to talk about Jen Psaki or whatever. Now, y'all know we have been rooting for Corinne Jean-Pierre for quite some time. I had to give her a little bit. I had to go in on her a little bit a few months ago. If y'all remember, we had the situation with the Haitians coming across the border. I gave her a little bit. I had to give her a little bit. We had to, give her two to the head, one to the body. I didn't give her two to the head, three to the body, but I gave her two to the head, one to the body, because I said she was a little too quiet about her, Haitians coming across the border and what was happening to them. When those videos and pictures surfaced, she being a woman of Haitian descent, she's a Haitian American woman, and I said she was much too quiet on that. But we still love Corinne Jean-Pierre. We are here for her, and we root for her, and I'm sure she'll do a great job. If you ask me, I thought she should have got it outright. I was upset that Biden didn't get. Remember, if y'all remember going back to late 2020, early 2021, I was very upset that he didn't give that job to her, that he gave it to Jen Psaki, because I thought she deserved it. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. It may not come when you want it, but he'll be there right on time. So we are happy to announce Corinne Jean-Pierre making history, being the United States press secretary, being the press secretary for the White House, the first one, the first black woman, and the first open lesbian to hold that title. We here for Corinne. We've been liking Corinne since she been on MSNBC, so we've been here for her for a long time. I'm glad to see it. We're glad and happy that it happened. That is our feel good story of the day. All right, so I ain't gonna go into the politics on why Jen Psaki is leaving. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I don't even care. We just happy we here. I may not know the story, but I ain't gonna go into it. We just gonna celebrate good girl, Kerrine Jean-Pierre. I'm gonna call her what her name is. That's Kerrine Jean-Pierre. I'm just saying. She's gonna be Kerrine Jean-Pierre. Because Corinne Jean-Pierre sounds real good. Honey. She is Kerrine Jean-Pierre. So, um, but you know what? And you know what's so funny? When you look at her like bio and her story, is and I'm not trying to paint a negative light on her, but they do a good job of whitewashing things and making things sound so nice and palatable. Because when you look at her story, it talks about her and I might have to do some research on it, but it talks about her being born in Martinique and whatnot, or being from Martinique when we know that her parents are of Haitian descent and French descent. But it is what it is. We love her. We are here for her. We're rooting for her. Don't mess this up. Anyway, one more palate cleanser before we get out of here. We about to get out of here. I think I got one more palate cleanser for Tracy. It's for you, Tracy, because I love you, Tracy, and you be wanting the palate cleanser. So I'm gonna give you one more. One more. I think we had him before, Tracy, but I wanted to bring him back. I think we had him last time, but I wanted to bring him back. It was another picture of him, but I wanted to bring him back for you, Tracy. There you go, Tracy. There you go. You have him back. Cause I love you. Be thinking about you. Anyway, we talked about that too, Tracy. We talked about this months ago when Jen Psaki first announced that she was coming out. Did I not say here on this live during the politics of it all that they would give it to Kerrine, Jean-Pierre, and right before the bloodbath that's about to happen? Did we not talk about that? Did you put a 27 in the chat if you remember me giving a whole commentary about Jen Psaki leaving just before the bloodbath that was about to happen in the midterm election? They was going to give it to Kerrine Jean-Pierre and make this black woman bear the weight and bear the brunt of all the things that will happen to the Biden administration after this bloodbath. I said it. I said it here on this platform, on the politics of it all, a few months ago. We sure did. We all do need a good palate cleanser. Tracy is a good palate cleanser there. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. Child. Tomorrow is Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. And with Saturday comes what? Silly Saturday. We will have a whole new slate of palate cleansers tomorrow. But I'm also going to, I ain't going to drop a lot. I'm going to give you, I can promise you, I'll try to have three. I'm going to promise you three. In the midst of our palate cleansing, I will drop three Twitter links or Twitter palate cleansers. I can't drop the pictures, but I can certainly drop said links. And we'll have three Twitter palette cleansers. Y'all know what it means if it's a Twitter palette cleanser. Y'all, you do know what that means, right? Anyway, so that's what we got tomorrow. That's going to be fun. Anyway, I've had so much fun with y'all. I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. We about to go start some work meetings and send some emails and stuff like that. I'm supposed to go see Doctor Strange tomorrow. So tomorrow, after we get off, after we get out of Philly Saturday, I'm going in the middle of the day to go see Doctor Strange. I'm not going to do it later in the evening with all you people where y'all gonna be loud and all of that stuff. I'll be watching Doctor Strange when we leave from when we get off of Silly Saturday. Yep. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all this morning. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They're much obliged. They're much appreciated. We are here. For y'all, I have gone, I think this is my third or fourth live this week. So I'm doing better. Y'all see, I'm giving y'all more of me. I'm doing better. We're getting better about bringing y'all lives more frequently. I hope y'all appreciate it. It just it's so hard. Y'all have no idea. Like really being every kind of knows the stuff that I be doing outside of YouTube, but I have so much going on, so it ends up being so difficult for me to go live, and it's so taxing on my body too. Like I don't think people realize going live is not just an easy thing when you come up here and you have to give and emote and give all of yourself. You got to do research. We don't just come up here and click the button and just, we actually have to do research, be well learned. Some of us take, so I know people who take a couple hours to prepare for a live, so they make sure they come in here informed and stuff like that. So And you know, we come here and we do things, and we don't ask for anything in return. Everything you said, like I said, um, we thank you for any and all contributions that you make, but we don't beg and force people to do it. If it's out of the goodness of your heart, I am so grateful for it. So I'm glad that y'all are here watching me. I will check y'all out tomorrow morning for Silly Saturday. I'm still excited about Silly Saturday. I don't even know what I'm talking about yet, but I'm still excited about it. Anyway, until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely, and we gonna get up out of here.